Welcome to the Wotchum Proprietary Limited presentation of a low-cost, 2-year warranty, 4-channel do-it-yourself kit. The kit is being unpacked just for ease of showing you initially what the parts are, and then we'll go into each part and describe them completely. The first part to show you is the digital video recorder. This is the black box, if you like, that makes it all happen. It stores the digital images. This is its power supply, which we'll show you in a moment. It plugs into the back of the DVR, comes with a remote controller, comes with a mouse, and it comes fitted with a 500 gigabyte SATA hard drive. That will be fitted prior to shipment to you. It also comes with a short cable here to connect from the DVR into the back of your plasma TV. Also has the ability to connect to a computer monitor or regular monitor through what we call a VGA port on the back, which I'll show you shortly. Here we have a disc, which on there is the user manual, and just to save paper they expect you to print that off yourself. A connector that goes with this cable to connect to your plasma, and then batteries for your remote controller. Over here we have the cameras that are supplied. These are two typical cameras. This one here is an infrared camera which is weatherproof and suitable for outdoor use. This one here is a dome camera that's suitable for internal use. However, you can have a selection. You could have 4 of these, or a mixture. What you have to do when you call us is just specify what you would like and we will supply it. Over here are the cables. These are pre-wired, pre-connectorized Cat5 cables, they're called, 8 wires, terminated on RJ45 connectors. These are used to connect the cameras to the DVR. We connect the cameras to the DVR with these balins, and we connect. There's one for each end, one's male, one's female. I'll show you shortly how that works. The power supply for the cameras is this one. It comes complete with a 4-to-1 cable assembly. The power supply plugs in here and the camera's power connects there. We'll show you that in a moment. Now I'm going to show you what the various parts of this kit. This is the actual DVR, the front of it. It's a low cost but very reliable DVR, this one. We have very good reports on it, and never had one go faulty as yet, ever. At the front here we have a USB connector to allow you to plug in a memory stick. This would be used if there was an event that you wish to record and download onto the memory stick for use on your PC, or to give across to the police department if they're looking for somebody that maybe had broken in and done some damage or stolen something. The IR reader is at the front here. 2 little LEDs here, one that tells you the power's on, the other one tells you that the hard drive is active. The hard drive, by the way, just quickly showing you, this is the hard drive. It's a 500 gigabyte SATA hard drive. This one is a particular Western Digital, but it could be Seagate or one of the other well-known brands. And we fit that prior to shipping to you. The back of the DVR, these are the connectors. Here we have 4 BNC connectors. These are for the 4 cameras that will connect to it. It doesn't have to be fully equipped with 4 cameras. It could be 1, 2, 3 or 4. Here we have 2 BNCs when you want to use an audio camera. There's an audio in and an audio out connection. Here we have a bank of contacts for when you want to connect a alarm system into the DVR. On the back here, another USB connector. This one is for the mouse, which has been provided with it. This is the power connector for the power supply that drives it. Over here we have a video out connector that can be used to connect to your own plasma at home using the provided cable and connector. Over here is a VGA connector if you wish to connect to a computer monitor or a separate monitor of your own. So we've got 2 ways of connecting the video out to a TV or a computer. VGA or video out. So that is the small compact DVR for 4 channels. If you were wanting an 8 or 16 channel, we also have the same type of DVR, but just with more connectors on the rear. This is the remote controller for the DVR, which allows you to fully program the DVR. There is an alternative to using the remote, and it's the mouse. Now this mouse plugs into the back of the DVR, and it must be plugged in before the power supply is turned on, otherwise it won't recognize it. But there are both of them, either one of them can be used for that purpose. These 2 items here, this is a short 1 meter cable and a RCA to BNC connector, which goes onto the video out terminal at the back of the DVR, plugs into the cable, and then the other end of the cable would plug into your video in contacts on the back of your plasma or LCD TV. The alternative, as I told you earlier, is the VGA contact on the DVR, and that is for a D-shaped lead which comes with the monitor usually to connect to a regular monitor. Then there's a DVR supplied with this, which has got the user manual on there, which allows you to print it off and thus saving paper, or you can look at it on your screen of your TV. Batteries come for the remote as well. Now I'll show you the cameras that come with this 4-channel kit. This one we particularly believe is good for things like sheds, barns, small homes, small businesses. 4 channels. Don't necessarily have to use all 4 channels, you can sub-equip it, but our kit comes with 4 cameras. Now this particular camera here is an infrared camera. Comes with a bracket and what they call a pigtail to bring out the video signal and the power, where the power comes into the camera. We'll show you how those connect shortly. On the front of the camera here we have a sensor which will switch on the low light emitting diode, the LEDs around the lens, whenever the light drops below a certain point. And these are particularly a light camera because they give off plenty of light, and people like that. At night time you get a good image of somebody that may be intruding into your property. They're fairly small, easy to fit, can fit them to eaves of buildings, you can fit them onto steel, you can fit them onto corrugated sheds, corrugated steel sheds. You've got many ways of fixing them. The bracket comes off and it's adjustable as well. You can just swing it down or do what you want in that regard. So there's 2 of those with each kit normally. This one is a dome camera which is not infrared. This one would normally be fitted inside a property and requires light if you want it to work in the total darkness. It needs some. It needs a small amount of light, but not much. The top unscrews, just a quick little turn. Inside there you've got the actual viewfinder, and you can turn this. It's multi-function, multi-axis. You can turn it up or down, left or right, and you can cover 360 degrees with it. Once you've set the camera, the cover goes on, and a slight turn and it clicks and it's locked. I should say at this time that you can select 4 infrared if you wish, or you could have 4 of them or a mixture. The kit allows that, so a telephone call to our line, we will deal with it as best we can and give you exactly what you want. So those are the 2 cameras at this time. Now we're going to talk about the method of connecting the DVR, the digital video recorder, to the cameras. With this kit we supply 4 of these 20 meter category 5 type cable. The cable has 8 wires in it, and the cable is terminated each end with an RJ45 snap-on connector. We truly tried to make this system that can be installed without any tools whatsoever, and this is how we do it. In this kit you will receive 4 balans. This is the transmitter balan, this is the receiver. The difference between them is merely the type of connector. This one being a male, that plugs into the camera. This one, the female, plugs into the power supply, which is located back at the actual DVR. So, first off, you would run out your cable to your camera. These are 20 meters, but we can supply them up to 50 meters, and we would cost it accordingly. If, for instance, you needed a cable less than 20 meters, you could still use these, but just wind up the unused cable and leave it in the roof if you're running the camera cable through a ceiling, or you could leave it on a cable tray in a shed or wherever so it can't be seen. If you require longer though, as I say, we can make it to length. So this plugs into the actual balan, locks. We do suggest just putting some electrical tape around there, which helps keep out any dampness that may be in the shed or a damp place, and also prevents it being inadvertently unlocked by somebody pressing on the clip. The other end of it, as the other balan, which is the receiver end, which is the female power connector. That plugs in there and locks in. Again, put a little bit of tape around there to make sure it keeps any dampness out that may be around. So now I'll just show you how we connect the camera to the transmitter end. There's that's our infrared camera. We will take the male of the cable assembly and plug it into the female of the camera pigtail, and then the BNC connector there pushes down onto its connector on the camera and turns and it locks. So now we've connected the camera onto the cable end, and then the DVR, I'll just get the DVR. On the back of the DVR, you'll remember we had 4 connectors for the camera image cable. Just plug that on and turn, that's locked on. And then the other 3 cables, of course, would go on the other 3 connectors. The power that is sent along the cable to power the camera connects to, we would supply this 1 to 4 cable assembly. These are male, this is a female, that plugs on there. Now once we plug that into the power supply, which is this one, this is the power supply that drives the 4 cameras, that one connector coming out of the power supply plugs into the 1 to 4 assembly. So then that will now provide power up the cable, round the cable, in and into your camera. So that's how easy it is. Okay, well we've showed you how to connect one camera. If you were going to obviously do other cameras, you would plug these into your balan for your power and for your video. You'd have another cable supply which would then come around. You would plug the power of a new balan that's connected to your new cable into the power supply, the 4-to-1 cable, and then the BNC connector would go on the back of your DVR. So then you'd have 2 cameras set up, and likewise you could do the 3rd and the 4th. Once you've actually connected everything up, the next thing would be to program the DVR, and that is very simple with this particular DVR, using either the remote or the mouse. As I said, you can have full-time recording, non-stop. Most people seem to go for the motion recording, which allows you to have a period of 5 to 60 seconds. Most people go for 10. Once it detects motion on a camera, it will record for 10 seconds and then it will stop. But if there's still motion occurring, it will then do another 10 seconds. You can set the time, the date, overwrite, so it overwrites the hard drive when it eventually becomes full, and it will just overwrite the very first day it was turned on, and likewise just carry on through the days back to the present. But it's continuously overwriting, but doesn't wipe anything that's only been there a short time. It only does the long-term recordings. And that's it. That's the 4-channel system. As I say, if you want an 8 or a 16-channel no problem, we have DVRs for that. And but you can ring us anytime on 0419 361 008. Thank you from Wotchum.